Welcome to the first official FulCom Coffee Break video of the year. This is something that I'm going to be doing every week, and I'm going to send this out to our teachers, our students, and our families so that you can kind of get a feel for who I am as your SLC administrator and a little bit of understanding of what's going on in the FulCom SLC and also how to be a really solid member of the Fulton family. So I just want to give you a little bit of information in this particular video. These will come out once a week. They will be somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes long, and I'm hoping to keep it closer to 5 than 10, but sometimes it may be a little longer. There is no expectation that you watch these every week. So this is not a requirement. This is not, we're going to do a test here to see what's going on. This is just me talking to you, and if you want to take time to grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a Diet Coke or whatever else it is that you drink, Sprite, Pepsi, whatever, sit back and spend a few minutes with me, I would consider that to be an honor. So I'm really happy to have you here with us. One of the things that Mr. Smith asked us to do as a staff at the end of last year was to think about 4 H's in our lives and to be prepared to share those with one another as we came back to school this year. And we're going to do that as an SLC. Our teachers are going to do that in person. But I thought that it would be a really good idea. Well, okay. Sometimes my good ideas are not that good, but I thought it would be an idea if I shared mine with you so that you could get to know me a little better. And those 4 H's are history, heartbreak, heroes, and hopes. And so here we go. Just as a brief bit of history, I was born in Indiana. I have lived in Indiana, Illinois, South Carolina, Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida, Scotland, England, and now back to Tennessee. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. So I've seen a few things. I've been to different kinds of schools. I was one of those kids that I went to elementary school all at one school, and then I went to a junior high in 7th grade. I switched to a new junior high in another town at the end of 7th grade. I went to another school in the 8th grade. I went to another school in the 9th grade. I went to another school in another state in the 10th grade. And then I finished school with the last 2 years of high school at one school. So I've been around, and if you're new to Fulton, and if you've just moved into Knoxville, and you're feeling a little uncomfortable because you don't know, you don't have your bearings yet, you don't really have any friends, I hear you. I see who you are. I was a very outgoing young man, very outgoing. I had a lot of friends in elementary school, and when we moved in the middle of 7th grade, that's when I realized I'm really an introvert. And I rarely made friends the rest of my time in school. I had a few, not a lot. So I hear you. I also have 3 daughters, so that is a blessing to me, sometimes a curse, but mostly a blessing to me. And they have given me 5 grandchildren, and I love all of them. The 3 daughters, the 5 grandchildren. I could not think of a better legacy for my life than those 8 people. So I have been a teacher now. This is my 21st year, I think. I started when I was, this is my 21st year. I started when I was 42. I was a late bloomer into education, and I am now 63. So it's been 21 years, and I have spent this is my 10th year in Knox County schools. I was at the Ellen STEM Academy as an assistant principal before coming over to Fulton, and I can tell you that I absolutely love being at Fulton High School. I love it. So that's a brief history. As far as heroes go, I never talk about heroes in my life without talking about my dad. My dad passed away when he was 47, 48 years old. I was just in my early 20s at the time. I was the last one to see him before he lost consciousness. I was the last one to have a conversation with him. It is printed indelibly on my mind. My dad did not have a high school education, and yet he went from being a sharecropping picker of cotton in Arkansas to being the owner of his own business that after becoming a chief chemist at a wire and cable company. If you look under the hood of your car and you see spark plug cables, or you see that wire harness that attaches all the electronics to your dashboard, my dad helped to create the insulation that went around those wires. That was his job. And so he was, and also strong as an ox. The man was like Popeye. His arms were like Popeye. Huge forearms. Yeah, so he's definitely a hero. My mom is a hero because after my dad passed away, she held things together. She has been a rock for me throughout all the years. And people don't understand, I actually live in Chattanooga. I don't live in Knoxville. I live in Chattanooga because I live with my mom. I'm the last sibling, so I'm here for her. I try to be here for her as much as I'm here for you. So those are a couple of heroes in my life. As far as heartbreak goes, obviously the death of my father was a huge heartbreak. My brother passed away a few years ago, and even though we had we had a rocky relationship, he was 6 years older than me. So, it was, I idolized him growing up, but we didn't hang out in the same crowds. You know how that is. Some of you have brothers and sisters like that. But when he passed away, it was very, very, very sad. My brother was a musician, and in the last years that he was able to tour, he played for Paul Davis, who you might know from 65 Love Affair or Cool Night or those kinds of things. So he was a keyboardist for Paul Davis, appeared on Solid Gold, appeared on American Bandstand. And so when he passed away, it was just devastating. And then as far as hopes go, obviously I have great hopes for this year. I hope that we can have a very, very good year with very few problems. That's my hope. My hope is that we can create an atmosphere for students where care and concern comes before discipline consequences. And we've sort of set up a system like that this year. I think that I personally am very pleased with. We'll talk about that in a later video. I also have the hope that coronavirus will not stop me from going on a trip to Italy over spring break, because in 2020, we shut down 2 weeks before I was supposed to get on a plane. Oh, I was devastated. So I have hopes that that's going to allow me to continue that trip this year. And then I also have hope that in a couple of years I may retire and be able to spend my time doing the hobby that has gripped my heart, and that is photography. So there you have it. A little bit of my history, a little bit of my heartbreak, a little bit of my heroes, and a little bit of my hopes. What I would like to do is offer our students an opportunity. It's not a requirement, but if you would like to, in the email that was sent out where you received a link to this video, there's also a link to a Google survey that will allow you to briefly tell me your history, your heroes, your heartbreaks, your hopes. Help me to get to know you a little better. I would love it if you would do that. This is not an English assignment. There is no grade for this. Spelling and punctuation, while always important, is not going to count off. But you will need your Knox County Schools Google Drive login, your Knox County Schools email and password. to get to the survey, and that's just so that I can limit who takes the survey and it doesn't get out into the wild and I don't know who people are. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Welcome to the FulCom Coffee Break, and we'll get geared up in a more official kind of video next week. I hope y'all have a great weekend.